Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Yo, we're here for show number 139. We're live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. I have all of the lovely ladies here, and we're here to answer
TikTok was live.
Yeah, you can go live on that too.
Wow, that's good. I'm gonna have to get my TikTok.
Oh yeah, you got to. You
gotta keep up with the trends.
Oh my God, yes.
Let me find out you got that OnlyFans now.
Oh yeah.
You ain't got OnlyFans yet?
Oh no! I ain't got that. I looked into that. I said I don't think that'll.
But it's good though. It's like paid. You can do like paid webinars. I know people got like this negative thought behind it, but you can do like paid webinars.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it because what I initially saw was what it is.
A lot going on. There's a lot going on. A lot of elements.
I ain't got no account.
What?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Okay, guys, welcome. Glad to have you with us this Thursday. It is April 30th, the last day of April. We're rounding this year on out, heading into May. This is show number 139. As Ty mentioned, this is the place where you ask your questions in regards to wholesaling real estate with little to no cash or credit. And him and the beautiful Renikia will answer your questions. So just want to give a little roundabout shout out to everyone. Lee, Antonio Gathers, New Place, D, Off-Roader. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Where you been, Off-Roader? They know Dow, Jewel Wigglesworth, RB Williams, Hensel Joseph, and over on Instagram, OG M Good, Mohammed Walla, Tito Brow, Christian One, and Steven. Hey. As always, you have the opportunity to give us a call at 205-386-0035, or you can ask your question live on the show on air right now. Well, Renikia, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Trying to weather through this storm of economy we have right now.
Yeah, we've got some stuff going on, but bright horizons are coming. Stay positive and head up. And well, Ty, if you don't have anything for the people, we're gonna jump right into this thing.
I have zero. Let's get it.
Zero. Okay. So this is from Instagram. It's from Stephen Nell 2020. Yo, Flip Man, what is the minimum amount a fix and flip cash buyer wants to make on his profit? Is there a minimum amount?
Well, of course, we're generally speaking when we talk about that as far as how much someone may want to make or not. So we just go with just a general formula that they want a 30% discount off the ARV. That's what that 70% formula is. It's basically a 30% discount off the ARV. All right. But subtracting repairs and your fee and so on. So you have to look at it in that terms, if that is clear. And what that 30% includes is mostly their profit, but also holding costs, such as closing costs, utilities on the property, and so on until they sell it. So that's what the formula is for, sir. Just look up deal calculator on YouTube, and Flipman in that video will explain in more detail.
All right, Renikia, any adages to that?
You just got to look at it as like a percentage. I think Ty explained it very well. The simple way of looking at, is it a deal or not when it comes to a fix and flip is just the 70% rule, the 70% formula Ty was just discussing. You just want to make sure that your purchase plus your rehab fits within 70% of the after repair value. And that usually yield a good profit for the investor.
Okay. Going right on. Let's see. Hey, Abdul, Jason, Sylvana, Stefan. and Philly Global. Taryn, Valerie, I see you all. Thank you for joining us. Antonio Brown and Frank Dominguez. Antonio's question from Facebook is: after I find a property, what do I do next as a new wholesaler?
That's a good question, I guess. There's a lot of videos explaining it, but once you do find a property, I guess you want to assess the property to determine what will be the best offer to offer the homeowner for the property. So you want to, if you can, and you have the ability to drive to the property and evaluate the property, take pictures, you want to do a video, take as many pictures as possible, try to evaluate the repairs, estimate the repairs, because it's really not your job. But in order for you to maximize your wholesale fee, you kind of need to know around about how much repairs would be, so you'll be able to make sure you're able to maximize your wholesale fee. And then most importantly, all of this is supposed to, you just want all this happen at the same time. But, as you are going to evaluate the deal, you also want to have some investors in mind that you can immediately send the deal to and see if they want to take advantage of that deal, or having first deals at that deal. And then from there, just getting to the closing table.
All right, there you go. Hopefully that answered that question for you, my guy. Hey, Eric and Jewel, I see you. Denise is in the house as well. Dimitri and Salvatore. Going back to Instagram, Boss Lady wants to know, well, she says rather, I'm new to this. I saw a house with a violation sign of high grass. I also know that it is usually a rental, is not owner occupied. How do I proceed?
She's seen a house with high grass?
Correct. So almost probably the same process as you found the property, the question you just answered. But yeah,
she thinks it's vacant.
Correct.
No, you're absolutely right. It would be the same process. That's pretty much driving for dollars. I do recommend people, because driving for dollars, you kill multiple birds with one stone. You're able to kind of drive in neighborhoods to see what's going on. You always want to stay abreast of your local market. You want to know, what's the hot markets, what's the hot zip codes and things of that nature. So it gives you a chance to just get out there in the field and learn as you're driving for dollars, which areas are the hottest. But, as you drive for dollars, and, the low-hanging fruits are those properties that look boarded up, that look vacant, grass is high. You can tell no one is probably living there, because most likely they'll cut the grass and things of that nature. So it's the same process. You want to find the homeowner at that point. You want to go to the public records. If the address is different, most likely it will be, is different from the home address. The mailing address in the public records is different from the home address. You want to write that homeowner a letter, or send them a postcard asking them, to purchase their property.
Yeah, and while you're out driving for dollars, which some guys that I'm working with out of California, some of the stuff you just know, but when you're driving for dollars, you're obviously looking for deals. But over the last week, I've been just out looking for cash buyers in areas that, like in D areas, D as in dog, to see if I can find guys that are investing in those areas. And I've been lucky enough to find guys, renovating houses, get out, yourself, and see if they're interested in buying more houses. And normally they're happy to see you. A couple of them flagged me down, because my car had the signage on it or whatever. So you definitely want to do that. And another approach that, just thinking outside the box while I was doing that, is that normally you avoid property managers when you're trying to find a property, but those could be a really good source when you see a property for rent and it looks like it's a company that's trying to rent the property with their name of the business or whatever and website. Those are property managers, and they have clients that are probably looking for more properties. So you want to write those numbers down also and network with them also.
All right. Hensel Joseph, who's in Miami, wants to know, how could he close a deal with the stay-at-home order that's in place there? Is it possible?
Absolutely.
Before I answer that question, someone on TikTok, this is the first time we ever done this. A couple of questions come up. They said, "Why is this going live right now?"
Right. Wow.
That's what we do every Thursday night. Is that we go live at 7:30 Eastern, and we answer questions about real estate investing, mainly wholesaling real estate, where you don't have to use your cash or credit to put deals together. I know it sounds far-fetched, but it's very real. And then someone else asked, "Do I invest in the stock market?" In actuality, I'm supposed to have something coming out in the next week. Hooked up with this young lady in Miami, and we're gonna have some good stuff on that also. So possibly stay tuned on that, and you can ride that journey also. So to answer that particular question. But what we had on this one?
In Miami, is it possible to close deals with the stay home order they have in place?
Yeah, but from my understanding around the country, there's real estate transactions are still occurring. It just may take a little longer depending on the county that you're trying to perform the transaction in. Is everything online, because that's the main thing that attorneys and title companies have to tap into, is pulling title. And from there, if they can get the pulling title and being able to record a transaction, if they can do that, then normally transaction will still occur or whatever. It just may be a little slower than normal.
Right. Yeah, we definitely experience delays. So just expect those. But as far as going out in the field, and if that seller is willing to allow you to go in and take pictures, I mean, take your precautions and your mask and things of that nature, and still go out there and make it happen, because right now is one of the probably one of the best times over the next 2 or 3 months is to buy. People are just putting a house on the market. They're trying to liquidate. They're afraid. They're in fear. And fear create opportunities. So, just continue to move, because people are still closing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one yesterday.
Congrats.
So with that being said, Summer Williams' questions was, are any deals being made as we speak? And I think it's safe to say yes. For most business as usual, just extra precautions put in place, being a little bit more patient and closing time frames, and who's moves, and being a little bit more creative in how you get things done. But most definitely deals are still being made. Summer. Okay, so let's see here. Our next is going to be a statement from Travis, who says, I think concurring with what you said, is that it seems like more people are selling houses now than ever before. Do you see that trend?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the fear. I'll go after you, Ty.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's the fear. Fear creates, fear creates opportunity. I mean, people are moving emotionally, and when you move emotionally, it creates opportunity. And you want to be, as investors, we want to be in position to grab these opportunities. And on top of that, there's a lot of properties that was under contract, ready to close the last 60 days, and they didn't close because funding got tight. And funding was put on pause. So a lot of those properties had to go back on the market, and when it goes back on the market, sometimes the seller just put it out there to, just a lower discounted price so they can get a new buyer, they can get it closed. So this little pocket right here is definitely creating some opportunity. You say, Tom?
Yeah. As she said, people
use your words
in situations like that. It creates, like she said, a panic, which creates a lot of times motivated sellers. Now, well, let me put it like this: but it creates sellers. Not all of them are motivated, because I determine motivation based on the price or whatever. So, but most definitely, you if nothing else, set yourself up for a month from now or 2 months from now. Right. If you just have deals in the pipeline, sellers know that now you can put properties under contract for 60 days with no question or whatever, for the most part. So you definitely want to get out there and start making it happen because stuff's still happening. And I'm just excited every day. I wake up beyond the norm of just waking up, but I'm excited every day I wake up because I know it's going to be a lot of opportunity out there, even more so than what it already was.
All right, giving a huge shout out to Omar, who piggybacked on the question about deals being made, said he did 2 deals last week. So,
Wow.
2 in the last 2 weeks. Still sounds good to me. Either way, way to go, Omar.
Congratulations.
Out there making moves. We have a call. Oh, I was about to say, who is that? All right, let's see.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for calling in tonight. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thaddeus Cooper. I'm calling from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Hi, Mr. Cooper from Virginia Beach. What's your question tonight?
Yes, I was calling because I know as far as like what's everything that's going on, I still been doing things. It's like driving for dollars, and I've acquired like getting everything I really actually need. So I'm just really just focused on still trying to understand the whole process. But through the process, I've been like I was saying, I was driving for dollars, and I've noticed a few homes that that had the certain characteristics that you guys explained to look for. And I know it's like it seems nobody's been there for like the last 2 weeks, so I've been going back and forth, and I'm just wondering like, how would they take me serious if I was to go? Like, do I need like a LLC or anything to first start, or do I just go in like how you guys show on as far as the YouTube channel?
Yeah, you go in just like you already own the house,
Right. Confidence.
And the confidence can be built just from knowledge, by simply knowing what to do. In most cases, man, when you educate if you go through and I'm not the only game out there, but assuming you go through all of my videos, right, and understand what you got going, at least a majority of them, you're going to know more than 99% of the people out there. Not saying you're better than them, but about real estate, especially creative ways to make money with real estate, you're going to know 99% more than what you're going to know more than what 99% of the other people know. So with that, confidence comes with that because you know what you're talking about, right? You're going to have to bring them up to speed. You don't want to be intimidating by no means. But you're gonna, you know what you're doing. You know what your end game is. It's just make sure that when you want them to do it, but you're gonna have the attitude. You don't care if they do it or not. You got $10 million in the bank, right? That's the attitude you got to have, and move on to the next person. If they don't want to, proceed in the manner that you want to proceed in, starting with price, contracts, and then down the line.
Right. I agree 1,000%. A lot of it is really, the more you educate yourself, the more confident you are to walk into that house like you want it. Walk into that house like you need me, and walk into it like, you are that seasoned investor. A lot of it is just your walk, it's your confidence, or walking into that house and asking confident questions and asking, also building rapport. So you're able to, just be able to build a relationship with them as well by building rapport, asking them certain questions. But the more you educate yourself, the more confident you are in every conversation that you have about real estate, and it just comes off. And it's really simple. I want people to understand it's very simple. It's a conversation. It's paperwork. So it's keep it simple. Walk in there with confidence and know exactly what you're looking to accomplish when you walk in there.
All right, Mr. Cooper from Virginia Beach, wishing you nothing but much success. You got this. Walk in there, call like you got a checkbook and a pen in your pocket. You ready to write it out right then. You got this, sir. And thanks for calling in. Guys, you can most definitely still call in. We'll most put your question and you live on the show with us tonight. But going to from Jared Kazee, he said, if I had a deal under contract, could I JV with you on the buyer side in the event I couldn't find a buyer? So how do they go about that? Where do they go to submit possible deals, and what are the requirements of that?
Well, on the screen, you'll see, can I put it on the screen? you'll see this banner here, and you can submit deals to dealyourlater.com, and basically we just partner with you on it. You can see it there, but you just go to dealyourlater.com, and you'll see a button that says send deals. And what happens is you submit a deal that, assuming you have it on the contract, assuming it's a great deal, we'll reach out to you normally within the same day, no later than the next day. And we'll tell you yay or nay, and a lot of times we're going to try to educate you on why that's not a deal and what you can do to turn it into a deal if it isn't. So most definitely, just submit them over to dealyourlater.com, which is the same place you can get access to the free contract that I've been using since 2003, and you can access the deal calculator that at least give you some guidance on what's an opportunity or not.
All right. So Encore Elite says, this is from Instagram. I'm new to this, so I've been watching a lot of your videos. Awesome for you. First step. Very, very good first step. If you guys are new to being with us on this Thursday or new to wholesaling in general, Ty has over 300 plus, closer to 400.
Almost
close to 500. I ain't been keeping up. So.
Wow.
So, okay. So close to 500 videos. I told myself close to 500 videos that are available to you that covers every aspect. He mentioned it earlier. You'll be 99.9% ahead of the curve if you just begin with the videos. No rhyme or reason, no order. Just watch them in their entirety. There's a new video right now that's posted recently on how to talk to motivated sellers. A lot of you have questions. What do I say? What's the conversation starter? Do you have a script? I would suggest going and watch that video. You can normally type the subject line of what you want and then put Flipman behind it, and it's going to direct you to the YouTube channel. So most definitely dig into those videos. But Renikia, I think this is for you. That's the ball out the park. It is. It is from Tyvon Davis. Tyvon Davis says, what is Fund My Next Deal? What is that about? Is that a loan? It's on the screen. Tyvon needs to know.
Yes, Tyvon, thank you. Fund My Next Deal is how to get access to my site. My site provide multiple creative financing strategies that you all can take advantage of to build your real estate business, to build your real estate portfolio. We provide creative financing from gap funding, unsecured funding, helping you to fund the gap, helping you to fund your down payment, to start your rehabs, help you to offset any expenses that is needed to wholesale, to start your marketing campaign. At the end of the day, we do teach how to buy and sell with little to any money, but it comes a point of time where you want to invest back into your business. So being able to tap and leverage your credit to be able to invest into your business is what Fund My Next Deal is. We provide residential and commercial funding as well as unsecured gap funding to help you offset some of the expenses associated with doing your fix and flips, or you're buying wholes or just wholesaling.
Okay. So next question is going to be from Ryan. How do you identify a sub-2 deal in an owner finance? So we just mentioned about creative financing. Wholesaling in itself is a creative form of real estate transaction. So sub-2 deals, owner financing is also one of those creative forms of finance. What is it? What would you say?
Creative forms of real estate.
Yeah, creative forms of real estate. I think I said that. So how do you identify if a deal is in fact that?
Very similar. But subject twos are more subject to an existing mortgage. And a lot of times it's always subject to an existing mortgage. A lot of times owner financing, the owner may own it free and clear, or they may have a very small balance mortgage on there, but because they do own the property, they're able to provide owner financing as if they was the bank. So instead of you going to Bank of America or going to Chase and getting a mortgage, the homeowner and owner finance becomes the bank. They will give you a promissory note, and provide you will have a promissory note that explains how much is going towards your purchase. principal, how much is going towards your interest. It just explains the whole note. Basically, that owner created a note for you to purchase that property that you did not have to go to the bank and do. So that's my idea of how to explain the difference between owner financing versus subject to.
Yeah, and if you're trying to simplify it for a seller, you let them know they're the bank now. Or well, subject to, let me back up. So, with subject to, they may technically still the bank, just depends how that deal is structured, because you may make the payments directly to the lender, depending on what you negotiate. But even if, with that being said, if you do negotiate a deal subject to, I would recommend always making the payments out to the lender, even if you're sending them to the owner, the person that has the financing in the property. You're the owner now, but the person that has the financing on the property or whatever, which is still a form of, I guess, owner financing in a sense. But normally when people, they say subject to, or they'll say owner financing, it may just be free, actually free and clear. And so now you negotiate whatever terms. And I saw a video a few weeks back, a guy explained it just really simple. You may have a house that the seller may want $50,000 for, but 20 is what works for you. And you say, well, hey, I can't do 50,000. 20 is the cash price that I can pay. Would you accept 100 payments at $500 each? Right? Just to simplify it for them, 100 payments at $500 each or whatever. Hopefully you can get away without a down payment, but you negotiate that. Sometimes you can negotiate the down payment in payments. They may want 10,000 down. So you may say now, I'll do 100 payments at $100, so now the total payment will be $600 or whatever. So it's all about negotiation, what you could make attractive either for yourself as a good deal, cash flow opportunity, or for another investor or an actual person that wants to live there. So.
All right. Our next question is going to come from our very own Crystal. Crystal is an admin on our site, Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman Facebook group. If you're not a part of that group, I suggest you go join. Again, it's Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman. Crystal gets a lot of questions that she feels daily from you guys on there. So very appreciative of you, Crystal. But the question that she's getting quite a bit is, how do you feel the COVID crisis is affecting the wholesale game right now? Are you still getting owners to meet with you and still putting properties under contract? So I know we kind of addressed this earlier at the very beginning, but now we're just going to delve a little bit more into it. So we were talking about the closing aspect of it. Closings can be done. There's creative ways to get documents signed. We also mentioned about getting the key and letting the owner go in, allowing you to go in and take videos and whatnot. But we're saying from the very initial onslaught of this, like you just met the person, they don't know you, nothing's under contract. How are you taking it from that angle with what's going on? Are you still going out and meeting them?
Well, I met a lady yesterday. I actually asked her, she wasn't basically looking like me. What are you talking about? Don't worry about it. I say I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna start out here in video, and I'm gonna walk in. And met another guy, but I didn't go in. We were meeting a contractor for the buyer. So I was just basically still sitting in my car where I just showed up or whatever. So to answer the question, I don't think it's really that big of a deal in that sense, because it's not like you all have to be in the same space for them to show you a house. They can go open the door and get back in their car if they want to. So, it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
Yeah, make a way. It's really simple. Unless there is a tenant in there and a family or something, it may be something different because, now you're walking into someone's living space. But if it's vacant, it's really just arrangements of, being able to get access to the property.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, Crystal, thank you for, as I said, always fielding those questions. I'm glad you put that one on here. this is one of the questions that we get often, and this kind of ties into it. But if a buyer wants to inspect the house, how do I keep the seller and the buyer separated? Or does it matter if because I already have the contract? So I think rule of thumb is you really don't want them to commingle until the very last possible minute, like possibly never, hopefully never.
Right.
So what's the answer to that one?
Yeah. I'll start it off and I'll let Ty finish. In my experience, you don't ever want the end buyer to mingle with the buyer. So what I have done, if it's that buyer, I mean that seller who's just adamant about being there and open the door for you and things of that nature, I mean, you really just got to pull them to the side and just have that conversation and say, hey, it'll take me and my partner. We're gonna go in here and take a look at it. If you don't mind just giving us the ability to walk around freely, I really appreciate that. Or just kind of let them down softly, without telling them you need to keep things separated. But I always had success with just being transparent up front and letting them know that, hey, I just need the ability to just access the property and walk around freely. If they don't mind just allowing us to do that. And a lot of times they'll just go outside and hang around or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah. You just have to just manage it.
Manage it.
It's a small issue to a check or whatever.
I like that.
You definitely want to you be in your buyer's ear. Hey, you can ask questions about the property because sometimes they asking questions that you won't know the seller wouldn't know or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you want more deals. You're my capital partner here or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, any negotiations go through me. That's the point you're really trying to bring home. You can ask questions about the history of the property and stuff like that. So main thing is just, hey, you just got to manage the situation.
Right.
Because it's going to happen.
Yeah, you got to manage it. Yeah. Because the thing about it is, the key is the seller really don't know what's going on. They don't really know who's on your team. But the buyer kind of understand what's going on, because when both of y'all walk to that house and there's somebody else that has the key, there's somebody else that's giving you access. The buyer gonna immediately know that this is either the homeowner, this is the agent, this is somebody representing this house. So once the seller began to put two to two, not the seller, but once the buyer begin to see what's kind of going on, you really want to make sure you control that buyer, because if that buyer gets to the seller and ask them, well, how much you selling the property for, and if it's $10,000 more than what you told them, it's going to create issues. So you never want to allow your end buyer to really ask that seller how much they really want for that property.
All right, Aaron,
We'll cut you out the deal every time.
Every time. Oh, Eric, missed you there. Eric is our movie quote guru. He's signing off for the night. Good night, Eric. Thanks for joining. So Aaron Ellis, Ty, get ready to load up dealyoulater.com. Get ready to pull it up. Okay. So Aaron Ellis says, I'm new and I don't know how to get a purchase and sale agreement contract. How do I get contracts started? Really, Aaron? Aaron. Thank you. That's a really awesome question. But lucky for you, if you go to dealyoulater.com, as you see there on your screen, again, that's dealyoulater.com. As mentioned before, you have access to the one-page purchase and sale agreement contract that Ty's been using since the beginning of his wholesaling career. It is free for you there under the agreement forms tab. You can plug and chug your information. You can email it, download it, whatever you need to do with it, but it's there for you, and it's pretty easy to use. Other than that, you can just always Google one. But while we're here, guys, while Ty is at dealyoulater.com, also there's another tab, and it's called the Deal Calculator. If you go to Deal Calculator, that's where plug and chug being my favorite word. You can also plug and chug some numbers in to see if you in fact have a deal. And that's exactly what we're going to do right about now. We have a property that is from, oh my gosh, see, I'm talking so fast and I lost it. Okay, so what we were going to do here was do a plug and chug of some numbers from a possible deal from a question. So let's see here. Let's not do the duplex. Okay. We have we'll answer this one. Denise Flat Favors, what are your thoughts on buying 3 vacant lots in an existing community that has some dated homes, 200,000 and under? She's found a builder that will do a complete build for 135 per square foot. Lots are selling for 13. Is this a deal or no deal? So not necessarily information we can plug and chug, but with that, what do you think on the surface?
Well, is the builder interested in building in that area? If so, then sell him the lots. If not, he's just telling you how much it'll cost to build as far as his cost per square foot. You know, if is he interested in buying the lots?
Okay,
that's the question we would need to know.
And also, I mean, 130,000 square foot is kind of high. I mean, in the high area here in Atlanta is about 150. But you know, run your numbers, make sure that you're able to, for the cost of it, you have there's a profit margin, you know, based on the cost of what he's selling you. So make sure it is a deal. You know, how much can you really sell those properties for? And the key is that if he don't want to buy it, you got to package it up to sell to other investors who want to build, or other developers who want to build. You know, but you got to run your numbers. How much can a new home sell for in that area? And based on what he already quoted you on the cost, does it make sense?
Okay. So guys, I apologize. I lost the question that had the numbers for seeing if it was a deal or not. If you're listening, if you could repost those numbers, I will go back and have Ty put those in, and we can assess whether your home is in fact a deal for wholesaling or not. But we do have a Facebook user who says, I have a great deal in Conyers, Georgia. However, it's on the MLS, and the uninformed realtor is kind of giving me a hard time because I am a wholesaler and investor. Now, I have the money to buy the property outright with my private investor. However, I would like to get it on subject to and use my private investor's money for other projects. So I guess, what do you think the best thing to do here?
Well, first and foremost, most real estate agents do not understand the wholesale world. So for that agent to be questioning you as a wholesaler versus an investor, that means that you all probably have more conversation than needed. You know, you never really want to approach, no one really want to deal with a wholesaler. And it's the reason being is no one wants to deal with the middleman. Everybody wants to deal with the guy who's going to buy and not deal with the in between. So if you approach any of these deals like, hey, I'm a wholesaler, I don't have the money, but I'm gonna go out here and find the money. If, you know, I mean, that's too complicated to a seller and to an agent. So you really got to approach them that I'm the investor and I'm buying the property, point blank, period. And because all they need to know is this contract. They don't really need to know if I signed this contract over here. They need to know that, hey, I put this property in a contract at $75,000. I'm going to purchase this property in a contract at $75,000. What they don't know is that I'm not going to purchase it with my money, but I'm still executing my contract, and I'm still able to fulfill my obligation. So don't lead as a wholesaler. You are a real estate investor. That's it. If you approach it like that, who are the agent? What are we going back and forth about? If I put it on the contract, I say I'm going to purchase it, and that it eliminates all the extra questions and all the extra questions are unknown when you do not lead as a wholesaler. I want us to not think of ourselves as a wholesaler, but think of ourselves as real estate investors.
Well, he found a property on MLS?
Yes.
And he want,
But the agent giving him more time.
Yeah. He's found a property on MLS, and he would like to do a subject to as the form of financing for it. The realtor is giving him a hard time. Now, he has the money to actually buy it outright, but he wants to save that money to do something else.
well, the agent is the gatekeeper there. Obviously, probably hadn't even mentioned it to the owner, which is their client, the agent's client, or whatever. And one of the mistakes, and I have a video, 5 mistakes newbies should avoid when starting out wholesaling. Most people, one of the first things I learned when I got the first course I ever listened to is that it was from Ron LeGrand. He said, all this stuff I'm going to tell you in this course, and you ain't going to believe me. You're going to run out and ask one of your realtor buddies about it. And they're going to tell you, you can't do this. It's illegal, blah, blah, blah. Now, that ain't the exact same situation that he was in because he might not know that person. But you probably assumed that the agent knew what subject to was. And I can guarantee that's probably the first time they ever heard about it. Right. Okay. And so you can make offers are free, but you don't have to get into ever that you're a wholesaler. Agent, the ones that know, they're going to automatically know. Right. The ones that don't worry about because it's not important. At the end of the day, can you buy or not? Can you perform or not? Doesn't matter where the money comes from at the end of the day. And that's dealing with sellers and buyers. Yeah, I saw. And so yeah, just move on from that if they don't want to play ball. That's with anybody. You just move on. Too many deals out there.
Okay.
And back to that one with the lots that for $13,000. You can negotiate. These are lots that are in areas where there's not new construction. What you can do is you can go back to the seller and offer owner financing and just do 100 payments at $130 each. And now you've made it probably attractive to people. Some people just like to own lots. You know what I'm saying? So you wholesale it out for maybe an additional $5,000 just to sign over. Or you may want to keep it for yourself. I don't know. But that's manageable, $130. And the seller, they should take that. They may not, but it's not making them any money right now. $130 a month, what is that? 130 times 12. Mm-hmm. That's what is that? What did I do? 130 times 12. What I did a plus. That's $1,560 a year or whatever. On a lot that they probably won't ever sell. So here's my 2.
Okay. This is from Chris, and Chris wants to know, in Pennsylvania, is it legal to use the one-page contract? The real estate commission stated that that they jumped titles even though they used 2 attorneys, and that they were acting instead of an investor, but instead as a broker.
If no agents are involved, no brokers or agents involved, yeah, my one-page contract will work in Pennsylvania. Okay. The reason if agents or whatever involved is that they are only going to use the approved contract from the board of realtors for that state or county or whatever. So.
Okay, gotcha. So another one of those, be mindful and educate yourself fully when dealing with agents in your wholesaling deals. Okay, so keeping it going. Let's see here. Marsha, I have been buying lists and texting, looking for motivated sellers. I've gotten a few responses, one wanting 225 in a 190 area, and 2 with repairs already done. Should I move on or not?
Yeah, on those, move on unless they would consider owner financing. You're going to hear me say that a lot, obviously.
Yep. Ernest, spelled Ernest on Instagram. That's dealulater.com. Dealulater.com is where you can find that one-page contract.
Oh, yeah.
He's on Instagram. You can't see it anyway.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Do you have any questions on TikTok? I haven't even been paying attention.
I had a couple, but nothing right now that I can see.
Cool. Because I wanted to make sure we weren't using those.
We good. Ain't nobody.
Okay.
They wonder what the hell is going on TikTok. What up? Somebody said, "Hey, Flip man." So yeah, contract I want to refinance. Go to fundmynextdeal.com. Fundmynextdeal.com. That's Lil Valdez on TikTok. Okay, that's what's up.
Okay, so Stephen Luke has a question. I'm just gonna say, guys, y'all are awfully concerned about the seller and the buyer meeting each other at the closing table. And when do we even have the deal first? Can we at least put the contract? Do we have contracts? We're worried about the end before we even finish the beginning. Let's focus on the beginning.
Yeah, let me just elaborate on that. It's a concern. We'll elaborate.
No,
God. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Steph's question. Yeah.
Well,
We still gonna ask this question. What happens when the seller and the buyer meets each other at the closing table? Can the seller back off after finding out you're not the actual buyer?
Well, they could.
But the money's there now.
The money there now. They're getting what you agreed upon, guys. Most human beings are reasonable, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to always have outliers. It's going to be so few of those. Guys, they are getting what you all agreed upon. They know you're not doing this for free. They know you're not doing this for free, right? You're negotiating a deal that you are an investor. That people know what that means, that you're in it to make money. So if they're happy with the price that they received, they got what they agreed upon with you. Again, you can always have unreasonable people. That's so rare that's going to happen. Worry about the hard part. That's the easy part to get to the closing table and people got pens out ready to sign and pick up money. Trust me, everybody's happy on that day. You're worrying about the wrong things. Worry about the hard part, finding a great deal and matching that with a cash buyer. The other stuff, I don't like to use the word easy, but it's easy in comparison to that.
Okay. And I misread or stated Chris's question wrong in regards to Pennsylvania. They wanted to know, is it legal to assign a contract in Pennsylvania? Can you assign contracts in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Yes. Simple answer.
Most definitely. Yes.
Most definitely. Okay. So from Facebook, how would I go about flipping a property with a lien for about $74K, but the ARV is $192? If they don't owe anything else, that's great.
Well, yeah, if depends on what, if the numbers work, it's just the price that works for you needs to be more than that 73.7 because the seller is probably not going to come to closing with that amount.
Okay. What is this Pace doing a 16-hour no break video?
Oh, my boy Pace Morby probably.
You gonna try that?
No.
Be sleep within the first 30 minutes.
No.
Okay.
Negative.
Okay. So, whoa. Are you doing?
Oh, we got a question here on TikTok. Okay. All right. Ely Wells 1 on TikTok says, how do you go about finding a title company if you've never dealt with one before? Boom. Great question, Ely Wells 1 off of TikTok. And you can all follow me there at Ask Flip Man. I think I have some entertaining, educational stuff there or whatever, a little different than YouTube and Instagram. So she's back. So our girl is back. Okay.
Sorry, the phone died.
No problem. So to answer your question off of TikTok, you really don't even worry about looking for a title company unless it's a situation where it may be a first deal, a first couple of deals, and the buyer that you're dealing with, that may be their first deal. And so now you would actually look for one. But otherwise, starting out, don't worry about it because in most cases, most investors already have those relationships built and you can just pick it back off of that. So you close it with that particular title company. Now that's your title company. You can go back to them, and even if that buyer is now involved because they know what you want or whatever, that's the simple part of it. Again, you really don't even worry about that unless you're dealing with a buyer that may be their first deal and they need you to find a title company to make it work or whatever. So, boom.
Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little.
Oh, it ain't touching.
Yes, it is.
Is it? What? It don't hold it.
Yes, it is.
Oh, let me turn it on. Oh,
That's probably why it's jumping.
Oh, it's supposed to be turned on. That's why it's doing
It's
it.
starting to do that thing again.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to be.
Okay, so Ty, I'm going to combine these questions. California, Colorado, Las Vegas. Have you done, plan to do, will you do any deals in those areas?
Send them over. Yeah, we're trying to do them everywhere. Of any decent sized city. Yes.
Okay.
That's supposed to be off.
Okay, so this is a good question. Reniki, I'm glad you're back with us. Because I think everybody might need to hear this. Might be a good one. This is from Sean Barksdale. And I appreciate his honesty. Says, it seems that my understanding of an ARV and a comp is inaccurate, causing my definition of a good deal to be off. That would cause some problems in calculating whether you got a deal or not. So let's go over that. ARV, after repair value, and a comp. Is there a difference? Maybe not. What do you say?
The comps determine the ARV. So you need the comps to determine the ARV. So, and if your ARV is off, honestly, if any aspect of your equation is off, your deal is off. But most importantly, your ARV is a very, very important number, which is the after repair value. So in order to determine what the after repair value is, you want to go out, you want to be able to identify comps that are comparable to your property. There's no need to be looking at a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, new construction home if you are rehabbing your property. You want to look at rehab properties. So you only want to look at properties that are very similar to your property that has been rehabbed to the T. And then you take about 3 or 4 of those properties that are sitting within a quarter mile. And then you go to, I really start in a subdivision. Then I go out a quarter mile, half a mile, a mile. And then you pick 4 or 5 properties that's within that half a mile, a quarter mile radius, and you take the average of those properties, and that will determine what could be an after repair value for you. Now, some of the best comps that you can get will be comps that a realtor can provide for you. So if you have a really dope realtor on your team, you want to ask her, if she'll be willing to provide you a comp report to tell you how much the property is worth. There's many ways that you can filter through Zillow, and I won't necessarily take the Zestimate as face value, but what I would do is go to Zillow, and there's a map on Zillow where you can filter for sold, you can filter properties active on the market, you can filter properties leased, you can filter all these properties, and then I'll just look at that map and handpick properties around my property to determine if it's a good comp. And then from there, I can begin to zestimate what my ARV would be. So that's kind of give you an understanding of how to pull comps and the difference between ARV and comps.
Okay. Any clarity?
Yeah. I add to that. Trying to pull up a property here with a lot of comp. It's not that one. Hold on 1 second here.
And then do cross-screen provide?
Yeah, so I was about to try to pull up is you can pull up MLS comps there also, but I was trying to look for one that had a decent amount of comps. You can go ahead. I'll pull it up here.
But this is an important piece to the puzzle, though. Understanding how to evaluate your after repair value. Although you're not buying the property, although you're not the one rehabbing it, but if you know the numbers as if you were buying the property, as you were rehabbing it, you can really maximize your assignment fee. That's when people leave a lot of money on the table because they don't know how to estimate those repairs. They don't know how to estimate a true ARV. So you could be $100,000 off your ARV. If you're $100,000 off your ARV, that means that you're a couple $1,000s off your assignment fee too. So,
yeah, what I want to show them was on Dealey AK Prop Stream. I have this property pulled up right here. And it's a new feature that they added where you can just do only public record comps. And then you can do MLS comps, right? So just to give you a different perspective. Now, the public record normally is going to pull up both, because it's public record, whether it's solo MLS or not. And here's a perfect example. If you look at 740, I know y'all maybe I can't see it, but you got 740 Center Place Southwest. That's the MLS comp. But when you go over the public record, it's there also because everything is registered public record, whatever. So, but you can access MLS comps through Dealey AK Prop Stream also, depending on the MLS in the market. So, just wanted to share that.
And I think tools like this is a necessity because, to be honest with you, when you first starting your wholesale business, it's really hard to get a realtor on your team and someone to just provide comps to you all day, knowing that you're not going to buy it. So, just having tools like this, to me is can be a necessity, just to your success of able to pull numbers like this, because a lot of times you can't access a realtor who can provide you those comps. So these are alternative methods.
Okay, so I'm again bundling up questions here. What is the amount given for an EMD, earnest money deposit, normally? The next question was, is $10 enough to be the EMD? So let's talk about the EMD. How do you decide that? Who decides that? Who gets it? Where it goes? And all of that. Let's just cover the earnest money deposit.
I guess I started and let Ty finish it. The earnest money is really whatever you all agree to. If you agree to 4 quarters, the earnest money is $1. So it's really what you agree to. What I have from my experience when I deal directly with homeowners, they don't really understand the importance of, getting a healthy amount or, getting a nice sum of earnest money up front to guarantee that a client is going to take this thing serious. So a lot of times you can get away with a $10 earnest money fee when you're dealing directly with a homeowner. Now, when you're dealing with agents, $10 is not even a question. When you're dealing with a real estate agent, it's going to be a $500 minimum, $1,000 for, more high-end type of properties, but it's going to be a minimum of $500 earnest money.
Oh yeah. You have to know who you're dealing with, understand the type of property you're dealing with. Guy sent me a message on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere. Hey, they rejected my property. They rejected my contract on this property. I said, well, how much? What was the deal on it? He said, well, the property was worth $2.2 million, and I made an offer of $1.2 million, whatever, and $10 earnest money. I said, come on now, come on now.
Yeah. They know you're not real.
I know you can't take everything that we say here literally. You know what I'm saying? Some of it, well, I know some of it. Most of it's case by case. Right. And a lot of things they're not going. They're probably not even going to take you serious with $1,000 earnest money on $1 million property. You see what I'm saying? So, but I get it. Again, it's you're dealing with people and you're negotiating. A lot of this is negotiations or whatever. So you have to just understand who you're dealing with. Sometimes on a $5,000 property, depending on who you're dealing with, they may not take $10. You have to understand who you're dealing with just through the conversation. or whatever. But it's up to you on the max that you will put up. At the end of the day, it can be a deal breaker. You know, people send deals over to us all the time. They want $5,000 earnings, but it ain't even nothing else to look at. I'll tell you what we will put up, and if they take that or they don't, or whatever. So.
Absolutely. And honest money can make or break a deal, because a situation like this where you want me to put up 5,000 and it's totally against my real estate presence to put up 5,000, I can't do that deal. So I know there's one investor, and I could never do a deal with him because I did not like the way he handled earnest money. I'm a person that, especially when I'm putting up, he was an investor, but you wasn't going to get $500. You're going to get $10. He was $1,000 to $2,500 minimum, and he not only wanted you to put up that much money, he wanted you to put the earnest money in his hand. I don't deal with earnest money in your hand. I only put my earnest money in an escrow account with an attorney, especially when you're talking $1,000, $2,500 and stuff like that. But because of the way that he didn't budge, he didn't care if I did business with him or not. That was his way. But because of that, we could never do business. So earnest money can make or break a deal, but it's up to you what you would be willing to put up for your deal.
Someone said, what's the most money you've ever had to put up in earnest money before? The most I've done before, I've done 6,000 before. Guess what? And I lost it.
Ooh, that's a good lesson. That is a good lesson.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Went to a seminar. As LeGrand used to say, I went to a seminar. You know what I'm saying? That's one of them hard lessons. I went to a seminar. You know what I'm saying? I was being greedy or whatever, trying to make the deal, lost it.
And so, hey, some of these sellers, they ain't playing. And that next day, your money is gone. So don't, make sure that you can do what you got to do. But I would say my last deal I just purchased was probably the most earnest money I ever put up. I'm a $500 less girl. That's it. But I decided to play it in a high-end arena out here in Atlanta, and I went out and bought my first $1 million flip. And when you're dealing with sellers who own $1 million properties, they're not talking $500, not talking $1,000. I put up $10,000 earnest money. I started off with $5,000, but my financing wasn't going through like it's supposed to. So I had to put up some more earnest money to keep the deal. So at that point, I'm $10,000 in. I can't afford to, not close this deal. So sometimes when you put that much money in, and that's what the sellers want you to do. They want you to have so much money into the deal that you can't afford to back out. You can't, I could lose, but who want to lose? So, on top of putting up earnest money, you're getting architectural plans, you're getting contractors to come out, you put up a lot of money. So at the end of the day, that's the most, but honestly, my profit margin is like $900,000 on the back end. So that $10,000 didn't mean anything to me, because all I can think about what would be the return of my investment on the back end. So.
And someone on Instagram, they took what I said when I said I went to a seminar. It didn't mean that I paid the $6,000 to go to an actual seminar, live event or whatever. It means that the experience of me doing that was a seminar.
Right.
A one-on-one seminar with me and that seller, and my greed or whatever got the best of it. It was a lesson learned seminar is what I meant.
There'll be some really good lessons too.
Oh, yeah.
Now, sticking with this in MD, I see several in the little chats are saying have the buyer put up the EMD, but oftentimes the buyer comes.
Hell, I didn't have one.
You don't have a buyer.
I didn't have one.
You have to secure the deal first. Now, hopefully,
I was trying to save a deal, right?
Right.
He had already extended, and the issue with it was in a higher end portion, a higher end section of my market. The problem with the house is that it was oddly designed. It was probably built in the 70s, and it was oddly designed, so it was going to take a lot of money to modernize. It wasn't in bad shape, but I was in great shape. It was just that you just going to have to redesign it. It just was no way around it or whatever. And so I was having trouble finding a buyer for, but I just knew the spread was there or whatever. And so what it was is that he had unpaid taxes on the property where they were coming due. Well, he hadn't paid them. It's not like he was just like begged, just like a month or so. There was no big deal. Well, I said, you know what? He said, I said, Tom, I can't give you much time no more. You only put up this amount of earnest money. And I was like, well, you know what? Let's do this. We'll increase the earnest money. I'll just pay the tax. So I went down to pay the taxes, what I needed or whatever. So the same thing. I lost the money or whatever. So, you know, I still could. He gave me another like 60 days. I still couldn't find a buyer. Guess what? Shortly after that, somebody bought it or whatnot. It took them forever to sell it or whatever. They renovated, and it took them probably like 9 months to sell it. I kept watching it because it's not far from where I live or whatever. But, you know, they sold it. They made, you know, I don't know what they rehabbed it at, but I could assume they probably made 75 or so on it. But it took them a long time to sell it, though. So.
You see, that's a factor, too. Do you have the time to wait for that?
Yeah. So. There you go.
All right. So, a vault lesson.
Seminar.
See, I mean, but that's really good. That's a good point. You know, Ty decided to go pay taxes on a property before he closed on it.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, those are sacrifices we make, you know, whatever the case may be. But sometimes the deal could be a good deal that you decided to make those investments before you close. You know.
All right, guys. Renikia, see some asking, what was that website again? How do you get in contact? What exactly does she do? So let's give the people a quick recap of the services that your company can provide to them to either get to the next level or continue on past the next level.
So yes, that website is fundmynextdeal.com. So basically what we do is just specialize in the money. It comes at a time in this on this journey of building your real estate portfolio where you need something, you know, or you maybe want to scale up. Are you, you know, at the end of the day, if you're able to invest a little money into your business, you'll be able to scale up a lot quicker. So we just specialize in creative financing, providing fix and flip, new construction, buy and hold financing, as well as commercial. But most importantly, which is our unsecured financing option, which allow you to just tap into your credit, leverage your credit to get as much unsecured money as possible so you can get into and buy the tools that you need to become the wholesaler that you want to become, or buy the properties that you need to begin to build your real estate portfolio. But this particular financing options allow you to just be able to invest back into yourself, into your real estate business or to your wholesale marketing campaign, so you can go out there and really build your business like you want.
All right, there you have it, guys. Fundmynextdeal.com. Available across all social media platforms. Renikia Williams. That's Facebook, Instagram, email, just everywhere. Reach out, just be patient and give Renikia or a member of her staff time to get back with you via email or either phone call. Ty has also just posted the video, How to Talk to Motivated Sellers. Put that in your search engine, put Flipman behind it, and watch that video. Most definitely some valuable information there. If you're not already following Flipman at Ask Flipman on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Periscope, all of the platforms, you should do so. I advise you to do so today. Visit dealyourlater.com to get that one-page contract and access that Deal Your Later calculator. And to get more questions asked next week, Thursday, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Come back and join us live. But without further ado, guys, that's all we got for you tonight. We're going to say bye.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.